and everybody having a ball. Until the fellas start the name calling, and the girls respond to the call. I hear a woman shout out, "Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?"
All right. Good morning. Good morning. It is 6:33. I'm sorry I'm a minute or two late. I'm just trying to catch up a little bit here and get things going. You guys know the drill. Take a look at the disclosure. All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. Hopefully everyone's feeling well. It is Monday morning. Wow. What a crazy weekend, huh? Holy cow. What a world we live in. I'm not going to get into politics. All I'm going to say is the futures are up 18 handles. A lot of people thought the end of the world was going to happen or some kind of crazy volatility. Everyone's trying to be like, Red Dog, what does this mean? Does it mean it's a Republican sweep? Does it mean Donald Trump's going to be president? Does it mean? I'm like, well, how about this? Let's just take it one day at a time. Futures are up 18 handles. Does it hold? Last week, we saw a huge move in the small caps and the bios, which we were ahead of. I was on with Liz Clayman, my friend, on Tuesday of Fox Business. And I talked about how we bought calls in the IWM and the XBI. So I think a lot of people were able to take advantage of that move. I was off the desk. I went to Atlantic City and I went to Lancaster, Pennsylvania for a basketball tournament. So I was kind of managing my positions from remotely, which is good. I like to show my community that you don't have to be sitting in front of your computer every single second to make money. You could be a professional trader and also not be in front of your computer every second. And you could have a different job and make money from the market. But anyway, let me say hello to some of my dogs around the world, see if anyone's awake. Who do we got in the house? We got Sully. Good morning. Good morning, Space Specialist. Good morning, Ali. We got the Vatican City in the house. We got Texas in the house. We got Bobby 4.0 who's working on himself. We got Blair from the Alpha team. We got Jose from Caracas. And we got Marcos, Mr. España. I'm glad you guys had fun with your family on the beach. We got Wayne in the house, Rolando Torres. All right. So it was kind of interesting because, again, I wasn't sitting in front of my computer, so I wasn't micromanaging situations. So when I did leave on Wednesday, I actually, was very long the small caps in the XBI, but I also sold premium in the SPYs where we went further than I thought, and the Qs. So I had to actually sit tight into the CPI. And thank goodness on Thursday, they actually sold down the SPYs, they sold down the Qs, the small caps of the XBI and the equal weight SPYs went nuts. And you had to really manage it all. And it wasn't that easy. But again, a lot of things in my process saved me money. What? I got stopped out of some Amazon shares. I got stopped out of some Meta shares. And I was able to sit tight in my short Qs and SPYs. Didn't cover the best, but I was done with my SPYs, short and Qs on Thursday. So that bounce back Friday, which was kind of insane, didn't get hurt in. But I also held my IWMs for a big move, which if I was in my desk, I probably wouldn't have. And I'm still in the XBI coming into this week. So anyway, that was then. This is now. Everyone's like, Red Dog, how did you handle it? And also remotely, looked like the two best stocks that bounced back the fastest from Thursday into Friday was Tesla and Apple. Meta was down. Google, Amazon, I feel like people are so pissed off about that move that got contained by the Jeff selling that no one was excited to get in there. And now here we are. So let's get to where we are right now. Here is the SPYs. The SPYs hit a high of 563.67 this morning. We're a little bit below. So right now, if you try and think about it, like where we are and what's happening. So we did have that little 20-minute sell-off on Friday, which was no big deal, just how much we came. So this is kind of tough where you close strong and then boom, everyone was telling me the market's done. Okay, that was the top. And then if you got caught extra short, Friday was a little tough. So anyway, Spiders hit a high of 563.67. It'll be very interesting to see if we open up two and fade and go red. So if you were thinking about you need a hedge, because historically the next 2 weeks or the rest of the summer isn't as strong as the first 2 weeks of July and June. So if you were thinking that we're going to have volatility at some point, then again, the only money that I've been really losing is my hedges. But anyway, so maybe you want to go out and buy some puts for later this week or out a few weeks. But if you look here, just looking at the chart, so this is 563.67, okay? If you go to the Qs, which I haven't updated in a while, the Qs did not get back up there. So as of right now, the Qs are showing some relative weakness to the SPYs, but they were relatively stronger the entire time. So if you want to mark a little bit of a change, that's a little bit of a change. So today it'll be interesting to see if the Qs go red first. It's going to be hard though with Apple up 5 and Tesla up 11. This high here is now 499.62. So I would think the Qs need a little bit of time. So if you were looking to fade something today, I would say, the Qs would be something that you could fade more versus something else. But anyway, so at this point, it doesn't mean much. It just needs to rebuild a little bit. Okay, look at this loose, wide candle. If the bears had any power on Friday, they would never let the Qs get back up above here. But the way this market is, they were able to push it. So anyway, at this point, I think this is going to need time. So just be tactical with the Qs. As far as the IWM, it was a grand slam home run for most of you on the 630 Club. For most of you, who follow me on Fox Business. I've been on Fox Business twice a month, literally for a decade. And I spoke to Liz, and I said, listen, guys, look at this inside wedge in the small caps. Nobody wants to play it anymore. We bought the 202.50s for like $1, $2, and I think some sold it, I don't even know, up to 12. There wasn't even an earnings play. It was the IWM. Well, congratulations. What would I do now with it? I would not be buying the IWM today. I'm sorry. Everyone's like, oh, the IWM is going to do fantastic now. Well, you have 1, 2, 3. This is like day 4. It probably outperforms, but your entries and exits matter. And to me, I don't know if it's going to go red or be a great fade, but if you have not bought the small caps whatsoever and you get paid for a living actively, today's not your day to buy it. I'm sorry. I actually have no IWMs. I sold the last of it on Friday, and I'll wait for another setup. Okay. XPI, I'm still in some options for Friday. Didn't quite have as big of a move, but if you remember, we were talking about we bought the 93s and 95s. Wow. I wound up selling the 93s. I kept the 95s. Here is where we were. We were at 103 in February, so we're not even there yet. So there's some room. So those are the two sectors I will focus on if we think we're going to, continue to rotate. But I'm also going to keep an eye on all of my stocks. Like you could have. I almost did it. I didn't do it on Friday. I was a little upset. Sometimes you get upset at yourself. Friday morning, I did tweet to Redler All Access and Public. I said, hey guys, you probably could be buying, Meta from 490 to 494 and Tesla into the 230 to 234 area. And meanwhile, Tesla was awesome. Tesla went from down 5 to up 5, closed well, now up another 11. So shows you, even if you get out, you can get back in. So if you look at Tesla, well, how do you do that? Well, here, first of all, this was your red dog reversal. So look at the size of that candle. Okay, if you remember, we had a really nice move here. And I think some of us got out a little early. Not so bad to get out early if you don't get caught. But anyway, once on Friday, it reclaimed this 239. That was a nice red dog reversal. If you sold it when it couldn't hold above a prior high or had an outside day, this was an outside day, a big outside day. So if you were still long this move, hopefully you got stopped out right around this 257. If you did, okay, you didn't take the pain and you came in Friday down 5 and said, hey, I'm looking for red to green. Red to green is one of my favorite setups. But anyway, now you look at it, Elon came out right after the and said, I support Trump. People like, is Tesla up 11 points because he is endorsing Trump? I'm like, I'm not going to put any color on it. All I know is if you bought the red dog reversal on Friday, you're up 11. Congratulations. Make sure to trim some into this spot. Okay, this is 259. Here is 265, 271. This low here is 257. So that's a nice trade. Okay, it's great to have Tesla trading these huge ranges again. Okay, then Apple was the other one that really acted well. I screwed that up too. Because again, I didn't want to be so cute. I'm sitting there watching basketball games. I don't have a signal in the gyms. I sent you guys some pictures. For Friday morning, I could have bought, some Apple, and I just didn't. Anyway, Apple actually is making a higher high. Look at that. Apple is up 5 at 235, above 233. And yes, Red Dog doesn't own any Apple. I was buying a ton of Apple here. I was putting on the 220 calls out the yin yang in here, and I think I sold my Apple into there. So I was kind of feeling good that I didn't get caught on Thursday, but I also didn't buy the dip. So now I'm not an Apple, and I just have to let it do its thing. But Tesla and Apple acted, best in my opinion out of the mega caps. Amazon did not, broke this upper area, and I think people aren't in a rush. I don't know if they need to wait to hear that finally Jeff says, I'm done selling. He suffocated this last move. We made really good money in this move, but he suffocated the last move, and it is what it is. My biggest loss last week was Amazon because I had a lot of options on it. It didn't work. I did roll them into this week. I'm not very optimistic about it. I'm going to wait and see. I did get stopped out of my stock, though, thank goodness here. So I didn't have to, go underwater there. I do lose money at times too, but I lost less. So anyway, here, this is real important for this week, 193. And this is your halfway mark. So the question is, does Amazon repair fast, or is it going to need weeks? Some people say, I think their prime day is this week, and then earnings, I'm going to look, when is Amazon earnings? Amazon earnings are July 31st. I guess if we were to pull back more, maybe I'd buy options for earnings. But again, I'm a little sour here. But anyway, whatever. It is what it is. So yeah. Then some of the small caps really went well. I had this SOUN on, and look at that nice move. We were buying it in here. It was a good small cap. It's down a little bit. It has probably some room. A lot of people were playing Palantir. Palantir got a little choppy, but to me looks pretty good also. Some people think this is going to be 30 plus. If you remember, guys were buying the SMCI July 19 calls just in case it got included into the Nasdaq 100, and it did. I wasn't on my desk for that. Nice looking channel. If you remember, we were playing this right around here, and then it had downgraded, and then whatever. It wound up repairing, looked pretty good. What's SMCI doing this morning? It was up 20. It's up 22, 931. This might still be buyable, guys. It's in the small caps. It's also in now it'll be in the Nasdaq. It'll have buying from both. It was at 1200. It's been going sideways. I'm going to still watch. I don't come in with any. I got stopped out of SMCI. I don't remember what day it was. I had options on for last Friday, not for this Friday. So, I'm going to have to figure out also, do I want to buy 930s? Because then you have 970s and it could go still. Avago split. So this has been under a little pressure. So we'll see I remember what happened with Broadcom, by the way, when NVIDIA split. NVIDIA high was 1250. Then I remember buying post split below 1. Am I back on? Yeah. There's like a heat wave in Milburn and people losing electricity. So I just flashed in and out. But anyway, so if I remember, I was telling you guys about NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, I remember I bought the 1250 calls to play a post-split play, and it went down first. But then after going down, it wound up going to 140, which was 1400. So here's 1770 and 1850. This low here is what? That's 1668. Let's see, 1668. Semis also still need time, but we'll see what happens here. What is I just got logged out. See what happened? All of these are just logged out. So let me see if I can get back on. Maybe. But anyway, so just because it was a little tired going into the split doesn't mean that it might be 100% over. Let me see if I can get us up one more time here. Let's see, CHAC. Wrong password. Okay. I'm in Short Hills by myself and trying to get everything together here. So that's what okay, let's see. All right, I got it back. So what's Avago doing post split? AVGO. It's at 1700. Hold on. Well, not 1700. It's 170. So basically, Avago is 170. So if it were to make a new all-time high in the next month, that would be 185. So, and then this is 1770, which I think would be 177. So if you feel like you missed another move, you might not have. So something to just think about, because if you remember, here's NVIDIA. hit a high of, where was it? NVIDIA, it was it was 12. It hit a high of like 1220, if you remember. Was this right here? Yeah, 125. This was pre-split, if you guys remember. Okay, so NVIDIA hit a high of 125.59. So that was 1250. I remember that. And it pulled in. I remember we were buying below 120s. Okay, yes, this was like boom. And then from there, it took that out, how to move to 140, and now it's just kind of packing and filling. So not to say that AVGO is going to do the same thing as NVIDIA, but I'm just saying there might be another move. We're in a little bit of a different market now. Also, it's mid-July. You got the summer, and some of the semis are a little wishy-washy, et cetera, et cetera. But bottom line is, AVGO, if you're thinking it's going to, you want to just split and people are going to forget, and all of a sudden it's going to be a 200 in the next 3 months, probably not a bad buy at 170. And now back to NVIDIA. NVIDIA gave a big wide range bearish bar also right here. This was a high, a lower high. We've caught a pretty good move there. Now it's not as strong. Like Apple's making a new high right now, right? Tesla's almost back. NVIDIA is taking its time, which is fine. Again, you don't want everything happening at once. NVIDIA right now is up only 80 cents. So what's this high from? This is 131.92. So NVIDIA is below Friday's high. So you want to see what's below Friday's high, what's above it, and then you get to see where the relative strength is, or not. And for some reason, I don't really know why Meta got super duper duper weak. But this is one of the names I got stopped out while I was at the basketball tournament on this day. I got stopped out right here, right in the 527 area. And then it did hold this prior support. It did go down to 494 and held. And this morning, it's not participating. It's down $1.65. And it didn't participate in the rally on Friday. So we'll see if that means anything or if it wakes up. I know that I did see, in the news that Trump's going to be allowed to be back on Facebook because he is a presidential candidate. And he's also going to be allowed back on Instagram. I thought, people may like that, may not like that. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. Bottom line is it's down here. So if you think this 490 is going to hold, maybe this is an opportunity this morning. What I do have is I have Bitcoin, which I'm happy about. Bitcoin, I was thinking Bitcoin would fill this gap and go, and that it had a false move. And Bitcoin is rallying this morning. This weekend, people were like, "Oh my God, Bitcoin's a safety trade. The market's gonna be down 30 handles." Sometimes it's the safety trade, and sometimes it's little speculation trade. And as of right now, it kind of repaired fast. And I was saying, hey, could it get back above this 58? And it did. And here we are right back to 63.8, which is, if you're playing Bitcoin and you're playing this range or home on the range, I did lose a ton of money thinking it was going to break above 71 to 73. But I'm happy that we bought back into this spot. Been better to buy back on the dip than to play momentum, even though Bitcoin's supposed to be the best momentum name out there, which it's not, or asset, but it is when it is, like here it was. So now we'll see what happens next. All in all, though, it's 651. Okay, you have the S&P's up 19 handles. Okay, question, like 5 questions. I'm like 5. No, that's 10. 5 questions. Does the S&P hold up 18 handles and close up 30, and do we continue to squeeze from Friday, or does S&P open up 20 handles and go from green to red, and do the sellers come back from Thursday, and do the bears have a chance to keep the market a little bit weaker for the next few weeks versus squeezing today? Then the small caps and the bios and the equal weight that had awesome moves last week, they need time. Okay, will those things hold or sell down? Then you have mega caps. Everything's different. Like I said before, Apple's the only one right now making a higher high. Tesla, I would not be buying this up open. It doesn't mean it's going to fade that much. If you bought it on Friday with the red dog reversal, congratulations, you made good money. Meta is trying to figure it out. Maybe we'll watch it this morning. Amazon, I just feel like, it's got a lot to prove. They just, what the whole Jeff selling everything just kind of put a hamper on that last play. Well, it needs a little bit of time now. The semis are rebuilding. Some are better than others. And, it's July 15th. We have earnings season in 2 weeks. Netflix starts on Thursday. What does Netflix look like? Netflix pulled in. a bunch. I haven't really played Netflix in a while, and I did list a stop. I said if it, obviously if you use the 8 days, your area, you would have got stopped out on Thursday, and it just continued lower. So if you think that earnings are going to be solid and good and special, and it's going to take out 697, okay, I'm probably not going to be playing it. But we'll see. This is your new point of reference before earnings. This is 643. So there's a little bit. It's a little bit of a better entry. I like when I want to play like an Amazon for earnings or an Apple for earnings or a Tele. I like when they pull it in 2 weeks prior, because then you're buying the options for much cheaper than if it was at all-time highs where it's pricing in perfection. Right now, this didn't price in perfection. It just came in 50 points. What's it doing this morning? Netflix is up $1.85. So anyway, that's Thursday. Oh, JP Morgan, I told you guys that bank earning. JP Morgan is always noisy after numbers. It's still hung in there, so we'll see. I'm not going to play it, but as far as the SPYs are concerned, the banks are pretty important, and JP Morgan is one of the better banks. Even though Jamie's been real negative, the last 6 months, 9 months, he's been very cautious, and the stock market's been going nuts, so he hasn't been really adding value in many places. But anyway, if you could actually just draw the low from earnings right here. So if it's going to hang in there, it's going to hold 202. And at this point, I think there's a lot of offsides. Like I'm not offsides. I'm just flat-footed. Okay, sold my XBI and IWM into that move. I was out of my high beta tech a little bit early. I missed the last day, but I didn't get caught. I didn't read back on Friday. So I'm like kind of in a spot where I'm going to be tactical. I am at the highs of my year. I'm above my high watermark, which is great. So basically, third quarter, you can get paid if you have a great quarter. That's what your high watermark is. So, but I'm not going to be putting myself in harm's way. I don't think there's any huge trades, but there could be a lot of good things to do if you're prepared with your process and plan. Listen, it's 6:54. I will be in here all morning, but today is the golf outing. Okay, today is the Prez outing. My best friend died of leukemia when he was 30. I just turned 51. This is the 22nd year we're doing a golf outing to celebrate his life and raise over 6 figures for leukemia, and just basically send kids to camp, send kids to college. And the day where I get to leave, drive around in a golf cart, high five over 100 plus people that I know from back in the day, from my Hampton houses, from the city, from promotions, from bar mitzvahs, from high school, from college. So, they also want to see me because about 6 weeks ago, I was laying on a table, for 7 hours where my heart was in neutral, my lung was deflated. And, so it's a little bit of an emotional year, but either which way, that's behind me, moving forward. And hopefully you're moving forward and enjoying yourself. Live life because you're dead a long time. You never know when your number is going to be called. And try and control what you control. And you know what they say that is? One random act of kindness a day. If you do that, the world will be a better place. Later, guys.